viewers, I am Dr. Pradip Kumar Mahata. I am going to discuss about the raised questions of UGC NET 2005 exam. So let's start. In the assertion, 4 out of 5 people suffer from dreaded failure. So the writer wants to arouse a feeling of. So in this line, it is talking about a disease that kills so many people. So sympathy, no, sympathy is a wrong answer, because sympathy focus on compassion to suffer and not motivating self preservation. Okay, so our correct answer is fear. Whenever we hear about some disease spread out in particular area, we got fear. Then hatred is not a correct one, and ill will, it is also not a correct one. Okay, so option A, C and D are wrong answer. Option B is the correct answer. It is very simple to understand. John is 6 feet tall and 204 IB is an assertion of. So it is an assertion of fact, because the height and weight are empirical, objectively measurable data points that can be varied, and making this statement classical assertion of fact. So it is obviously not a judgment. So it is not a judgment. It's talking about height and weight. So it is not a judgment. It is not an opinion, because opinion is subjective personal view. If John is tall, okay, example like this. Now it is talking about the height and width, so it is not a correct option. Then interference, it is also a wrong one. Interference is logical deduction of down from the fact. So our correct answer is option A, a fact. X, he means A, stingy. Why? Oh, I wouldn't say that. He is just thirsty. This dialogue asserts that he. Option A is our correct answer. He is too careful about his money. The debate between stingy negative and thirsty positive. Okay, so centers on the core assertion that the individual is exceptionally, perhaps excessively careful with money. So option is our correct answer. Never spends money is the wrong answer, because never spend money is an absolute exaggeration of not logical asserted. So is admired by everyone for a good management, it is also a wrong. Admired by person is disapproved by X, immediately negative position. Okay, now option D is careful with his money. No, it is also not correct, because lack of critical attention over the degree of his financial care. So option B, C and D are absolutely wrong answer. Our correct answer is option A, is too careful about his money, with his money. Sorry. Next, I wandered lonely as a cloud makes an assertion that. So it is a very famous line by Wordsworth. Okay, so what is the assertion? First option is saying that the poet is traveled with the cloud. No, he is not. The author is not traveled with the cloud. Then the poet moved aimlessly with the cloud. It is also wrong, because A and B, literal physical travel with cloud, which is textually and physically incorrect. So option A and B are incorrect. Okay, now let's see option C. Both the poet and the cloud were lonely. This is also a wrong statement. Option C focuses to literally lonely rather than drifting quality of wandering. So option D is our correct answer. The poet moved as aimlessly as the cloud. So Wordsworth simile compares his solitary walking to a drifting cloud, emphasizing aimless, peaceful movement through nature. So this is the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. So I have noticed from my experience that so many questions have been asked by UGC NET examiners regarding this line. So I request you to be careful about this line. This is very important. EVI. Okay, for NET point of view. Now death is here, death is there, death is everywhere. The effect, rhyme, sound stressed these lines. Option A, assist the communication of meaning. No. So option is A is wrong, because assisting meaning is a generic function, especially it mimics the hunting modes of morality. So that's why option A is wrong answer. then hinders the communication of meaning. No, it is also a wrong option, because the rhyme clarifies the tone rather than hindering it. Okay, so option C is a correct answer. Reflect meaning and mood. So the particular line is saying about a death. Death means some solitary or desperate mood, desperate and somber mood has been described here. So reflect meaning and mood. Yes, this is a correct answer. The respective rhymes meters monosyllabic beats create a Solomon urgent drum beat that physically reflect inescapable busy presence of mood and death. So this is the reason option C is correct, and this one is also wrong. Reflects a mechanical regularity. A regularity is a highly evocated, not a dull mechanical exercise. So that's why option D is a correct. Sorry, wrong answer. Option C is the absolutely correct answer, because it is saying about the mood. If you read the line carefully, you can easily understand. Next question, based on the page, the name of 4 important sources to which an intellectual is related basically. So the option is society, institution, worldly power, and government. So we have to identify how we can understand an intellectual person, his inner prospect. So society, instruction, and worldly power and government. So institution, language, truth, and power. So option B, C, and D introduce terms like government, truth, and power, which are not in the passage initial correct and cultural activity. So option A, B, and D, these are all incorrect. Okay, and option C, nationality, language, tradition, and historical situation, this is the correct answer, just because the passage opens with all of us live in a society, okay, and are a number of nationality. So if we are in a society, then we have a particular nationality with its own language. We need a language, okay, then language makes a kind of tradition, and then historical situation are 4 of this line. So option C is the correct answer. Now, which is the what is the meaning of intellectual being servants? The option A is the correct answer. The intellectual may be appreciated by national tradition and society. So to be a servant in this context means following oneself, to be completely bound, co-opted, and appropriated by dominant narrative, history, and actualities of own culture. Okay, so this is the reason option A is the correct answer. Option B, what is it is saying? The intellectual may be inappropriately co-opted by agencies and governments. So governments, option B, why it is wrong? Government co-option is a form of pressure, but servant of this actuality refers directly to national and societal context. Okay, so that's why it is a wrong answer. Then option C is also in the intellectual may be sent into exile and made marginal. So exile and marginality are recommended to resist servile conformity. So this is why option C is the correct. Wrong answer. Then option D, the intellectual may be forced into accepting unacceptable proposition. So this one is also wrong, because it relates the physical force rather than intellectual appropriation. Okay. So our next question is, what is the 4 important institutions that co-opt an intellectual according to the passage? So now let's read. Society, institution, worldly power, and truth. So option A is wrong. 1. Option B is correct. Academy. Yes, this passage explicitly means the relationship with institution. So first academy, then church, then professional guild, then worldly power. Option C is wrong, and option D is also wrong, because option A, C, and D inserts true society and government that do not match with a specific group defined in the text. So what is the meaning of relative independence as discussed in the passage? So option A, liberating oneself from the pressure of government and institution. So this is a wrong answer. So our correct answer is liberating oneself from pressure of institution and worldly power. Relative independence defines searching as a critical freedom from the co-option pressure of modern, professional institution, worldly political power structure. Okay, option B, liberating oneself from pressure of religion and state. This is a wrong option, and liberating oneself from all religious secular pressures. So option A, B, and D introduce generic formulation of religion and state that divides from precise vocabulary of the passage. So that's why option C is our correct answer according to the question. Now the last question of the session: what is the duty of intellectual? How many identities does he acquire to perform his role? So to achieve complete independence, to be characterized in exile. This one is wrong answer. To achieve partial independence and characterized as author of the language, wrong answer. To manufacture independence, to be a keeper of his own conscience. This one is also wrong answer. Option D is our correct answer. To search a relative independence, to be characterized as exile, marginal, amateur, and author. Okay, so option D is correct because to search the relative independence and be characterized as exile, marginal, amateur, and the author. Okay, hope you can understand all the question and answer of UGC NET 2005 exam. So keep watching our channel, then you will get another video of rest PYQ question that will clear your knowledge and will give you a hint that which topic should be emphasized for the exam, so that you got so many common question in the exam and you can easily crack the exam. So best of luck for all of the aspirants. Thank you for watching.